Hi, it's Jonathan, and welcome to another episode of Sigillum Multarum. Today, we will talk about the flag of Germany. This video was released on October 3rd, 2020, 30 years to the day that the German Democratic Republic, aka East Germany, joined the Federal Republic of Germany, resulting in German reunification. As a result, October 3rd is celebrated in Germany as Der Tag der Deutschen Einheit, or German Unity Day. Therefore, I decided to do a video about the flags of Germany. In this video, I'll talk about the history of German flags from the Middle Ages to today. After the history segments, I'll talk about the use of the German colors outside of flags, before ending this video by warning about flags that look similar to the flag of Germany. Now, on with the video. Das Mittelalter bis zu den Napoleonischen Kriegen. The Middle Ages to the Napoleonic Wars. The history of German flags begins during the Middle Ages, long before Germany was wholly unified. The very first flags we'll cover in this video is not of a sovereign entity, but of the Hanseatic League, a confederation of various market towns, mostly in what is now Germany, that dominated Baltic trade from the 14th century until the 15th and 16th centuries. Although the Hanseatic cities of Lübeck, Hamburg, and Bremen continued being members of the League until 1862. Although the Hanseatic League had its own army and legal system, it was not so much a country or a confederation of countries as a shipping company run by towns that, with some exceptions, were mostly part of other countries. Ships operated by the Hanseatic League flew a white and red pennant known as a Hanseatenwimpel, or Hanseatic pennant. The Hanseatenwimpel served as the inspiration for almost all of the flags of the Hanseatic cities, except for Riga in what is now Latvia. The Hanseatenwimpel also served as part of the inspiration for another flag, which I'll talk about later on. For now, I have another entity whose flags I'll talk about in this video, the Holy Roman Empire, not to be confused with an ancient empire of a similar name. The Holy Roman Empire, or HRE, was a confederation of dozens, and later hundreds of sovereign states that existed during the Middle Ages and early modern era. The HRE did not have its own flag, but the closest things were the standards of the Holy Roman Emperor, which changed over time. In the early 1400s, the standard of the Holy Roman Emperor was a gold field with the Reichsadler, or imperial eagle, of the time on it. Around the Reichsadler's head was a golden halo. Around 1430, the eagle gained a second head to symbolize how the Holy Roman Emperor also held the symbolic title of King of the Romans, due to the emperors being crowned by the Pope until 1530. It was this flag which was used until the Holy Roman Empire was dissolved in 1806. Meanwhile, some of the countries within the HRE had their own flags, but considering there are hundreds of them in the Empire's later years, we don't have time to cover them all. However, I can mention the flag of one of the later countries to be created, the Principality of Reuss-Greiz. It was created on May 12, 1778 as part of the Holy Roman Empire, and when it was created, it adopted a black-red-gold tricolour as its flag. Although it had a 4:5 ratio instead of the modern German flag's 3:5 ratio, the flag of Reuss-Greiz was still the first flag on German soil to use this now iconic pattern. Reuss-Greiz continued to use this flag until it was incorporated into the Free State of Thuringia after World War I. You may be thinking that the flag of Reuss-Greiz is where the history of German flags began. It turns out that the flag of Reuss-Greiz's resemblance to the modern flag of Germany is likely a pure coincidence, and we actually have a few more flags and non-flags to go. So on to the next segment. Die Napoleonischen Kriege bis heute. The Napoleonic Wars to present. As I mentioned before, the Holy Roman Empire dissolved in 1806. This was due to the Napoleonic Wars, and as a result of the HRE's dissolution, the countries that made up it were divided between two opposing sides. Some former HRE states allied with France, forming the Confederation of the Rhine, a union of client states controlled by France. Although its components had their own flags, the Confederation of the Rhine itself did not use a national flag, instead either using the French tricolour or the standard of its protector, who you may know as Napoleon. However, some of the other states of the former HRE opposed the French. This included Austria and Prussia, which were initially allied with Napoleon, but switched sides in 1812 and 1813, respectively. After Prussia joined the coalition that was fighting against Napoleon, Prussian Major Ludwig Adolf Wilhelm von Lützow, a volunteer unit called Lutzowsches Freikorps, or the Lützow Freikorps. Since the Prussian army had problems acquiring funding, the uniform of the Lützow Freikorps consisted of whatever its members could find: black uniforms with red trim and brass buttons. Although these uniforms of black, red, and gold were of these colors because of their makeshift nature, the Lützow Freikorps assigned their own symbolism to these colors in the form of a German poem. In German, this poem says, "Aus der Schwärze der Netzschaft durch blutige Schlachten and goldene Licht der Freiheit." Although the Lützow Freikorps consisted of only around 3,600 members, did not win a lot of battles, and was dissolved only the following year, it still became significant for one thing. It was the only unit in the Prussian army during the Napoleonic Wars to recruit from all throughout the German states. As a result, after the Napoleonic Wars, the colors of black, red, and gold became associated with the concept of a unified German state. Although the German states united to form the German Confederation in 1815, in the aftermath of the Napoleonic Wars, the German Confederation was not a unified country. It did not even have an official flag at first! As a result of this lack of unity, groups calling for democratic reform and German unity proposed various black, red, gold tricolors as a future German national flag. In 1815, a group of university students that were veterans of the Lützow Freikorps founded the Urburschenschaft, or original student fraternity, to call for these ideals. Their flag had a red, black, red field with a gold branch of oak leaves in the center. This organization was dissolved in 1819, but the black, red, gold colors were repeatedly proposed during several rallies for German unity throughout the early 19th century, such as this flag at the 1817 Wartburg Fest, or Wartburg Festival, or the 1832 flag of the Hambach Festival. Later, during the revolutions of 1848, some political groups in Germany briefly dissolved the German Confederation and established the self-proclaimed German Empire, which is not considered a Reich of German history in the same way as the First Reich. This empire finally adopted a black, red, gold tricolor in its modern form. In addition, the Reichsflotte, or Imperial Fleet, was formed, the first navy in German history to serve a unified Germany. The Reichsflotte used its own naval jack, a square flag with a double-headed eagle on a gold field, as well as a naval ensign, which was a black, red, gold tricolor with the naval jack's eagle on it. However, this empire was replaced by a restored German Confederation just a year later. The Reichsflotte and its flags continued to exist until 1852. Meanwhile, the plain black, red, gold flag remained official, though rarely used. In 1866, Austria and Prussia fought a war over who would rule the German Confederation. The Austro-Prussian War only lasted from June 14th to July 22nd, 1866, ending with a Prussian victory after only a month and 8 days of fighting. The German Confederation was dissolved, and while Austria did its own thing, which we'll talk about in another video, Prussia and its allies founded the North German Confederation the next year. The North German Confederation had its own flag, black, white, red tricolor, with black and white being the colors of Prussia, and white and red being the colors of the former Hanseatic League, as I mentioned earlier. Later, from 1870 to 1871, the North German Confederation fought the Franco-Prussian War against France, resulting in yet another Prussian victory, and the states of the North German Confederation finally uniting to form the German Empire, including the formerly French lands of Alsace-Lorraine. The German Empire continued using the 1867 tricolor alongside a multitude of naval jacks and ensigns until World War I, which resulted in the monarchies of Germany being overthrown by groups that supported a republic. This republic, officially known as the German Realm and better known as the Weimar Republic, after its original capital, decided to replace the monarchists' flags before World War I with a new flag, A heraldrist named Ottfried Neubecker proposed a flag with a black, red, gold cross as a new national flag. But ultimately, the new German government decided to re-adopt the black, red, gold tricolour that the democratic activists of the 19th century used. However, the monarchists did not like the new flag, or democracy, at all, so some of the flags used at sea combined monarchist and republican designs. Of course, for many of them it was very clear whose flag designs influenced the Weimar Republic's flags at sea more. In fact, it was the black, white, red flag, not the black, red, gold flag, that was used in German embassies from 1922 to 1933. No wonder the imperial colours are sometimes thought to be the Weimar Republic's flag. Either way, the monarchists still did not like the Republic, or its real black, red, gold flag, nor did the National Socialists, who weren't monarchists or, contrary to popular belief, socialists, but what their opponents called Nazis. Did you wonder why the Nazi flag had the same colours as the flag of the 1871 German Empire? In fact, when the Nazis took over Germany in 1933, a slightly reproportioned version of the old German imperial flag was initially used alongside the Nazi party flag. This dual arrangement lasted until 1935, when the old imperial flag was banned. This may have happened because on July 26, 1935, the Bremen incident occurred in New York City. Just before the German ocean liner Bremen departed from New York City, a group of American protesters tore the Bremen's Nazi flag from its flagstaff and threw the flag into the Hudson River. It is likely the banning of the tricolour may have been a response to these American protesters. I wonder if any of them joined the US Armed Forces when the United States entered World War II in 1941. Which brings us to the flags of those who recognized that Germany deserved to lose the war. Many Americans and Brits forget this, but even some Germans would strongly agree with them. On July 20th, 1944, some German army officers attempted to overthrow the Nazi government and create a new government of their own. One of the people involved, Josef Wurmer, proposed a modified version of the 1919 flag proposal as the flag of a post-coup Germany. Although the coup was unsuccessful, the government the coup tried to depose had ceased to exist in less than a year of the coup. After Germany surrendered on May 7, 1945, it came under the control of four of the Allied powers: France, the United Kingdom, the United States, and the Soviet Union. Since the old Nazi flag was banned by the Allies, and a new flag had not yet been decided on by the Germans, the Allies provisionally adopted a flag for civilian ships based in Germany. This flag, adopted in 1946, is also known as the Sea Pennant, because it was based on the International Maritime Signal flag for the letter C. Why the Allies chose C? I don't know, so tell me in the comment section. Anyway, this flag would be used until a new German government adopts a new German flag. However, this was during the 1947 to 1991 Cold War, when the Western Allies and the Soviet Union were competing for power on the world stage. As a result, the Soviets were creating a one-party communist state in their occupation zone, while the Allies were creating a multi-party capitalist state in the other occupation zones. Also, France tried to annex part of their occupation zone as the Tsar Protectorate, but we'll save that for the state flags video. Either way, both the Western and Eastern authorities had one thing in common. They both adopted the black, red, gold flag as their own. The Germans in the Western occupation zones, otherwise known as Trizonia, proposed several flags for an independent Germany, including a modified version of the resistance flag proposed by Josef Wurmer's brother, Ernst. However, the West German authorities ultimately settled on the 1919 black, red, gold flag, since that had previously been a symbol of German democracy. Meanwhile, the Soviet authorities also chose the black, red, gold flag as the flag of a future German government. Ultimately, these developments concluded in 1949, with the Federal Republic of Germany being proclaimed in the West and the so-called German Democratic Republic being proclaimed in the East. These states are better known in English as West Germany and East Germany. Of course, it is quite odd for two opposing countries to use the same flag, so in 1959 the East German government added their coat of arms to the center of their flag, just so people could see the difference. The post-war division began to crumble in 1989, when protesters in the East tore down the Berlin Wall. After that, the German Democratic Republic continued to exist, but now many of its citizens demanded reunification of Germany under the West German government. One way the protesters did this was by cutting the coat of arms out of the German flag, leaving a hole in the flag where the coat of arms used to be. Then, on October 3rd, 1990, East Germany finally joined the Federal Republic of Germany as the 5 most recent states of the newly reunified Germany. The plain black, red, gold flag is still used by Germany to this day. Now, let's check out some other usages for these colors. Schwarz, Rot, Gold in anderen deutschen Kontexten. Black, red, gold in other German contexts. The colors of the flag of Germany are also used in various contexts in German culture outside of flags. The current coat of arms of Germany is a gold shield with a black eagle, which has a red beak and talons. The eagle itself is called the Bundesadler, or Federal Eagle, and is the successor of the Reichsadler, used from the Middle Ages to 1945. Modification of the Bundesadler is used on the standard of the Federal President of Germany, as well as the government and military flag of Germany, the flag of the German Navy, and the troop colors of the German Army. Before you ask, yes, Germany still has a military, the Bundeswehr, or Federal Defense. In addition, you may remember how the flag of France is derived from a cockade, a sort of ribbon worn on the hat. Well, Germany has its own cockade as well, the black, red, gold colors on it. This cockade has been used from 1919 to 1933, and again from 1949 to today. Before this cockade, a black, white, red imperial cockade was used from 1871 to 1919, and again from 1933 to 1945, when it was replaced again and again by the black, red, gold cockade of today. Interestingly, German even has an entire word dedicated to describing these black, red, gold objects. Schwarz-Rot-Golden, one of German's famous long compound words. The word Schwarz-Rot-Golden is derived from the words Schwarz, meaning black, Rot, meaning red, and Golden, meaning well. You can guess. I've also heard the similar compound word Schwarz-Weiß-Rot, meaning black, white, red, be used for stuff displaying the German imperial colors. But most of you won't need to use it too much in today's republic. I think I've covered enough German Schwarz-Rot-Golden stuff for this segment, so on to the less German Schwarz-Rot-Golden stuff. Nicht zu verwechseln mit. Not to be confused with. The flag of Germany is quite distinguishable from most countries' flags, except Belgium, which coincidentally uses a tricolour of very similar colours. These two flags are often confused by those who haven't memorized the difference. The difference between these two flags is that Germany's flag is a horizontal black, red, gold tricolour, while Belgium's flag is a vertical black, gold, red tricolour. Remember this the next time you have to raise one of these flags. There's nothing else for me to say here, so on to the outro. And now you know more about the flag of Germany. In this video we have talked about the long history of German flags, the meaning behind the current one, a confusing flag next door, and even a German compound word dedicated to the German flag. I've never even heard of the word Schwarz-Rot-Golden until the day of this video's uploading. In a few days I'll work on a follow-up video about the flags of Germany's states, so stay tuned. For now, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like on it. If you enjoyed the entire channel, subscribe to it. And if you want to know when my next video will be coming out, click the bell button after you subscribe. And I'll see you in the next video.